for this conversation. So, but to let you know who's with me, I'm sorry, I had practiced this, Kovalyov. Did I get it? Sam
Perfect,
Kovalyov
perfect.
from Haven Wellness is joining us today, and he's going to share his story. We're really looking forward to hearing about his family's adventures. And but first, I want to remind everyone what the Economic Action Team is about. So our guests represent a wide range of backgrounds and expertise, including environmental activists, sustainability professionals, entrepreneurs, academics, and community leaders. So the Institute of Economics was founded in 1980 by Dennis Weaver, an actor and environmental activist. And his goal was to promote sustainable and ecologically sound economic practices. And that is one of the reasons why Sam is here with us today, because his family's journey was took the American dream and turned it on its head. And you created your own dream, right, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting story. It's been an interesting journey over the years. But yeah, in 2012, my family and I moved off the grid in upstate New York and kind of took that plunge into um, like embracing the unknown and what can we really build for ourselves and do for ourselves, and how can we live in harmony with the land in the way that we feel is integrity with our values. And yeah, we spent the next few years building all sorts of structures and a massive garden area, and um, he's learned so much about just the way nature, our interconnection and interdependence with nature. Um, and yeah, eventually in 2015 we incorporated as a nonprofit. We turned that location that we were living in into an education center, and we began inviting interns in and volunteers to come and stay with us and learn from us. And yeah, so that's the Camp Haven project. It's still operational there in Livingston Manor. And That led into us hosting community events and really integrating with the local community, which is, a key component of our philosophy. We have a three-pillar approach. So it's the health of the individual, the health of the community, and the health of the environment. And so when we started really interconnecting with the community and seeing what was needed in the community, we recognized that. Yeah, thank you for sharing. This is the website. Um, we realized that there was a desperate need for clean food in our community, and although there were a lot of farms in our area, it was difficult to find food because all the farmers would sell their food at the bigger marketplaces in New York City. And so we decided to start a buying club and buying wholesale produce from different farmers and markets, and selling it. And then that grew eventually into us opening Haven Market, which is the second center that we opened. So yeah, it's just been a wild ride, and we're just really excited about the future and everything that we're building. And now the nonprofit is really looking at these centers as blueprints, because we have a global vision to create these types of centers all around the world to help people solve problems within their communities and integrate with the local environment, and help people get healthier at the same time. So yeah, all about education and wellness education, and we want to make that fun and enjoyable for people. That's why we created these experiential centers. We realize that that's just the best way to learn, by immersing yourself in it.
Oh, that's terrific. So you shared that in about 5 minutes and made 10 years sound incredibly easy. But right? It just sounded like smooth and easy, but really this is
Oh,
not an easy project. And so I'm kind of curious to know, like, what's the inspiration? Like, what was the inspiration to to shift into living off grid? What was and what were some of the challenges you all faced, like as you did this? Because a lot of times, I think one of the things we like to share is like the real stories, because it's really about people's um, creativity in overcoming challenges. Because we're still taught, you started this when people were just starting, so there wasn't a lot of resource. So another question to add on there is like, what would you have wanted people to share with you? Like when you started, like, oh, now I know.
Yeah, great.
If only someone had told me this. Uh,
Yeah, great questions. I mean, uh, the inspiration. I was in college. Well, I'll start in high school. I didn't enjoy the structured approach to school at all ever. I didn't like waking up at with my alarm clock and having to make sure that my things were done by deadlines. And um, finally homeschooled myself through sophomore, junior, and senior year of high school. Um, and ended up graduating early, getting into an amazing college early, and realized that it was really just structured and kind of the same way that the high school approach was. And um, I wanted something more organic, something more that, if I could listen to my body and feel how I wanted to approach things. So I went home kind of like disillusioned from all of what I thought, school was going to be and my professional career was going to be, as a graphic designer. And I started researching. Like, the thought came to me, like, I'm in school so I can get a good job, so I can make lots of money, so I can pay for things I don't believe in and really like don't value, the unsustainable way that we were living at the time in New Jersey. And you know, unsustainable house that we were in, the massive electric bill that we had all the time. Like, I was just starting to get plugged into how wasteful we were really being as a family, the way we were living in New Jersey. And um, so I started researching, like, how can we lower our expenses, not increase the amount of money we're making so we can pay for more stuff, but like, how can we actually like reduce the amount that we need, become more minimalist. And I didn't even know the word minimalist at the time, but just reduce the amount that we needed, um, and be able to provide more of our comforts for ourselves. I was learning about solar energy and reading a little bit about the new technology that was coming out. And honestly, like, when I started doing research on it, I was really amazed to see how many people from like the 70s and 80s had done similar things to this and documented their journeys and had gone off the grid and built greenhouses. And so I felt like, wow, this is like the prime opportunity right now. Like, we have so much information about how to do this. We have so much technology coming out to make it easier to do this, like to actually make it kind of comfortable while you're doing it. Because that's everyone's fear, is like, I don't want to be uncomfortable. I can only handle so much living in nature, and there's really ways of making it super comfortable nowadays. And that's, what we learned. And um, I guess a big thing that I wish somebody would have told us is like, to get more consulting along the way, because we call ourselves professional amateurs. My brother and I, we research a lot online. We watch a bunch of YouTube how-to videos to make sure we kind of know what we're doing, and then we are the construction crew, the designers, the architects, like everything. We design and build everything, and we got to. We had this massive vision for our welcome center, which is still under construction, and to have a bunch of little tiny homes available on site as well for us to live in and to kind of show people what living in a tiny home is like. And all of this is still very much under construction in upstate New York. And we're seeking the support and the funding to help us really take that vision into reality, because what we were able to do ourselves was amazing, and we were with our own two hands and just our, like, like the planning we were able to do, built incredible structures. And like, but the amount of headache, like, to your point, the struggle that it took, the not knowing, you know, so like what kind of wood to get, what kind of insulation to get, like everything that you take for granted when you hire people to kind of do building work for you. They just say like, this is the best stuff on the market. This is what you want to be using. Don't use that stuff over there. Um, we learned like a lot of that stuff is marketing and sales tactics, and like that they don't take into consideration sustainability and like eco-friendliness when they tell you they're the best in the world, so it's like we have different values than what is being pushed out there in the marketplace, and we had to really do research on every little component of what we were buying, and finding people to partner with that were also like-minded and eco-friendly, non-toxic materials and things like that. um, like I really wish we had more consulting up front of like a person that we could have had support us, because we still have this beautiful vision of what the property could be, and we're just working our way there every day. And we, with the help of interns and volunteers, um, which is something we thought no one would really be interested in supporting us until like the everything was built and the property was fully established. And what we learned is that people are actually really interested in supporting the building process and like learning what it's like to get their hands dirty and build something for themselves and grow their own food, and be in a community where their dreams are being supported in that way. They can build the things that they want to build. um, so yeah, we kind of uh, we shifted gears at one point from like we have to get everything built and get everything done to like we love our community and we just want to we really want to support our community, and uh, in having interns and volunteers and working with them to build out what they wanted, and in their minds and their vision, we kind of slowed down what we were building in our vision because we wanted to be more inclusive. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey. I don't know if I answered all your questions in there, but um,
No,
yeah,
it's
the
super. No, you're doing great. You're actually you shared something in there about how you were one of the inspirations was you wanted to do something that felt more in alignment with your natural body rhythms and being
yes.
in alignment with nature. And you were talking about values, and what I heard you talking about was a values reset. And I'm curious about uh two kind of components of that. Like when you started, so when you come, like how did you include your family in this? Is it a conversation around the kitchen table, like, hey, let's everybody, let's shift? Was it quick, like everybody's like yes, or did it take some time? And then as your shift, and then what was the transition like when, how did that feel to kind of, I'm going to use the word detox from, from the grid. I guess when you're going off grid, I guess there's like, because it's fasting time, it's cleansing time in the
Hmm.
fall here in this part of the country. So I'm kind of thinking about detox got on the top of my mind. So yeah, so play with that for a little bit. Share
Yeah,
some inspiration there.
yeah. I mean, there's definitely a detox period. I will say, uh, the the transition. A lot of it is like there's a lot more noise than we even realize that we're experiencing. And when I mean noise, I mean like electromagnetic noise. Like there's a lot more affecting us in a city environment than we are cognizant to, than we're aware of at any given point. And if we uh, like a common thing that we saw when people come to visit us is the first night they sleep for like 14 hours. That was like almost everybody that comes to visit. They would, for some reason, their body feels like, this is where I can rest. This is where I can really recharge. And we're only at like a little over 2,000 feet in elevation, so it's not like there's an oxygen issue that would make them want to sleep that long or anything. It's really just that, in my mind, what I come to realize is that there's no electricity. We can turn it all off at the end of the night. We can turn off the electricity, and it's actually off. And the only resonance, the only vibration or frequency that you're experiencing is coming from the earth. And we don't have that in our modern society. Like, we're, hundreds of Wi-Fi signals on top of each other, televisions running at the same time, we're just cell phone signals going all at the same time, so it's like, um, all of these things are affecting our electromagnetic, the way we feel on a daily basis. And there's, like, I've never slept better than up there, and in the woods, being able to shut everything off, and just be in nature. So yeah, the the transition, like the what usually ends up happening is, like, after that period, energy levels start going up like crazy, and um, we want to be more active. Like, we really noticed that, like, a lot of the I have to go to the gym, I have to exercise, like, oh, I have to, it became like, hey, let's go for a run. Let's go see what's over there. Oh, I heard a bird, like, like it just became more natural to want to be active, to want to explore, to want to use our bodies. And that's what we started realizing. We're like, wait a second, like, when we're in this environment, we don't compartmentalize everything and make it like we play over here and we work over here and we exercise over here. We're just, like, doing one thing, and it feels like play, and we're being productive at the same time, and we're moving our bodies in the best shape of my life, building, like, this was a year and a half ago, like, building all these things and being out in the sun. And it really clicked that all these things were a holistic, um, like a holistic activity, a holistic way of living our lives that makes us feel more at ease, more in alignment. And that's why I talk about harmony, because it's like, it's a feeling of harmony. It's hard to explain to people that haven't, been in a environment where you can actually, like, disconnect completely, for a few days, because it's like, the how in tune we get with what we're feeling and what's going on with us, when we're in that environment, is just, it's unlike being, anywhere else. Like, there's the thought clarity, and I guess I'm kind of like talking about it like it's just going to that location that kind of did that, but it's not. It's the, uh, embracing what it means to be sovereign and be, in interdependence with nature, and to be able to actually, use things that nature's giving you as a tool, and to thank nature for that tool, and to not, uh, overuse, and or to be wasteful in that way. It's like a privilege to be able to be as minimalist as possible, and, like, still have fun, and experience, like, this amazing experience in nature, and not have to harm nature in any way, just to have your fun. It's like, we were able to really, like, and through the years we started having bigger and bigger events, because we were like, wait, having a holistic experience, that where we are paying attention to, like, what kind of, products are we using, like, are they eco-friendly, or, like styrofoam and things like that are traditionally used at, like, a public event or something. They'll give away, like, they'll hand out plastic plates and stuff like that. Like, we just realized that we can teach about sustainability through these, like, fun interactive activities and events, and by bringing people into these environments. And it doesn't have to be like we're scolding you for not being more sustainable and for not connecting with nature. It's like this is what you get from connecting with nature. It doesn't have to be some like, uh, you're doing something wrong and therefore you have to go do this. It's just been a tremendous, like you said, detox and cleansing to connect with our environment in this way. And we started eating better and taking care of ourselves in better ways, And I connect all of it. It's all connected to harmonizing with the rhythm and the frequency of the earth.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I use the word to detox because we were talking about going off grid, right, and becoming more sustainable. But as I was listening to you, I really got a sense of the um, of the harmonizing and the attunement to the ecology, to the ecological grid, and how you attune to your own rhythms in that. So yeah, that was really interesting to listen to. So thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that. I really want to head on and talk about your community activism, but we have a question first from one of our attendees. Aaron asks about choosing your property. If you could describe the process of how you chose your property. A lot of people on the EAT community are really interested in biodynamics and permaculture and regeneration. And so people are always interested on, the different ways and the varieties to choose properties. Yeah, locations.
yeah, definitely.